bad mistakes. I've made a few. I've had my share and kicked in my bed, but I've come through.
You're listening to Where You Live with Gene Sullivan.
Welcome back to Where You Live with me, Gene Sullivan. I'm broadcasting from the True North Painting Studios. The show is brought to you by Extreme Exteriors and American Family Insurance, the Kim Bennett Agency. As an American family agent, Kim believes that there's so much more to insurance than the policy itself. It's about providing you with dependable protection and services. Kim believes that trust and credibility can't be demanded. It can only be earned by what you say and what you do. Give her a call at 651-482-1598 and tell her Gene sent you. It's time now to hear from the Minnesota Multi-Housing Association. The MHA Minute is brought to you by Start to Finish Maintenance Contractors. Start to Finish provides 24-hour service for all your home and business maintenance needs. Call Start to Finish at 952-259-1219 for your home, for your business, for your peace of mind.
Did you know that the members of the Minnesota Multi-Housing Association, or MHA, provide over a quarter of the state's housing? That's housing for more than 1 million residents. The members of MHA agree to abide by a professional code of ethics, and they know that happy residents are key to a successful business. When you're out looking for your next apartment, remember that rental references are a two-way street. Before you rent, ask if the owner is a member of MHA. If not, ask why not. And tell them to visit mmha.com. That's two M's, mmha.com. If you're an owner or manager or even an accidental landlord, you owe it to yourself to learn how the Minnesota Multi-Housing Association, its classes, certification programs, resources, staff, and faculty can help you succeed. Don't be a good landlord. Be a great one. Visit mmha.com, mmha.com.
Our guest today on the show is attorney Tony Smith with Roeder Smith and Jaden. They represent a number of homeowner association clients in the Twin Cities, deal with HOA law. Tony's been talking to us about how to navigate through a property insurance claim when things aren't going well. And at the last break, Tony, you were talking about every once in a while an insurance company will come up and ask for things that are unreasonable. For our listeners, again, give us just quickly, what are a couple of things that would be considered an unreasonable request to processing this claim?
Well, I think that probably the big thing is the time period in which they're looking back from the date of the loss. It's not uncommon to give a insurance carrier documents related to the property for the last, say, 3 to 5 years. But we've seen some insurance carriers who have wanted 10 years, 15 years, 20 years worth of documents, and that it's just so clearly not related to anything dealing with their particular claims. The other thing they've looked for are what we consider to be, I guess, an overreach in terms of looking for board minutes for the same period of time. So I think it's not necessarily what they ask for, it's how long they ask for it. So if they want 3 years worth of documents, if a client comes to me and asks what I think of that, I'd probably tell them to produce it. If the insurance carrier wants 7 years of documents, then the insurance company and I are going to have a conversation. So
and again, this is where it goes back to what we talked about earlier on the show today. You know, there are a lot of things that seem easy initially to go through. And I gave the analogy of cooking a meal. Cooking a meal is different than being a chef and preparing for being a chef on a cruise ship and having to crank out a 5-course meal for a couple thousand people, you know. And so we're talking about when things like that happen, the good thing to remember is to go and rely on the experts. And those experts are the association's attorney. That would be a good time to get someone like yourself involved just to be able to help, more than anything, give the client some perspective.
Yeah, I think more often than not, it's just about helping folks so they don't make a mistake. I don't think that there's any reason that a legitimate insurance claim should be denied because the policyholder didn't understand what they were supposed to do. And that's what we try to do. We try to navigate people through what is a really uncomfortable and unfamiliar situation. I mean, most people don't ever have to make an insurance claim, but when they do, they can involve huge dollar amounts.
Well, boy, our time goes so quickly. We just got just a couple of minutes left, and we've got so much more to cover. Let's try and wrap things up here with after going through this process and a person thinks that they're ready to begin, the insurance company comes back with a scope of coverage. And there are times when it'll come back and a person will scratch their head and say, this isn't anywhere enough to take care of what we think we have. Now we're talking about a dispute. Tony, what do we need to know here?
Well, I think that people need to know, as a general proposition, they don't have to accept what the insurance company is offering them. And there's a way for them to have somebody else look at that and make an independent determination. For example, if the dispute is about how much repair is necessary or about how much it's going to cost to fix something, there is a process in the insurance policies. It's actually required by Minnesota law. It's called an appraisal process. And under this Minnesota law and under the insurance policies, an insured can make a demand for the insurance carrier to have an independent panel appraise the value of a loss. And that is it's outside of the court system. It's an informal process where a three-person panel, an umpire and an appraiser for the insurance company and an appraiser for the homeowner, look at the damage, look at the estimates, and listen to any other evidence that those parties want to submit. And they get to call balls and strikes and make a decision as to how much money the claim is worth.
Now, you said there's something real important to remember. Disputes generally take two forms. There's valuation, but there's also coverage, and there's a difference. Please explain.
Right. Yep. I'm talking about a value coverage with the appraisal, where the only thing at issue is how much it's going to cost to fix or how much we need to fix. If there's a dispute, a coverage dispute, that's where the insurance company has said, our policy doesn't cover this. We're not paying you anything. And in that type of situation, that's a pure legal dispute. Get a lawyer involved.
Okay.
Because at that point, you have only one option. You have two options. You can either call it a day and accept that and walk away from the claim, or you can have somebody look at the policy and give you an opinion as to whether you're entitled to some coverage and the insurance company made a mistake.
Okay. Boy, our time has just flown here. Tony, I appreciate so much you being on the show today. For our listeners, if they want to get a hold of you, they have a question, how can they do so?
I think the best thing to do is go to our website. It's www.rsjlawfirm.com, and there's an email form on there. There's also some phone numbers on there. You can give us a call or send us an email. We'll be happy to talk to folks.
Okay, Attorney Tony Smith, thank you so much. Folks, thank you for joining us. Have a great rest of the weekend. Look forward to having you here next Saturday on Where You Live.
Sweet